myself all my money. But
Whatever,
when
Mom.
I do anything,
okay, Mom. And everything I do, you don't respect.
Did you even say thank you, Mom?
Well, that is Janelle from the MTV Teen Mom Show. Dating, driving, sex, drugs. It's a wonder parents don't lock their kids up from 13 to 21 years old. It's a balance between letting your kids learn the hard way and keeping them alive. We're back with our panel on taking your questions and comments on raising children to be responsible adults. Let's go to the phone lines. We have Rhonda. Is it Rhonda or Wanda on the phone?
Rhonda?
Rhonda, what's your question or comment?
Yes, I have a tween boy, and he is starting to do the trying to sneak out thing.
Ooh.
And we've taken his phone away, taken his TV away, taken his video games away. What do we do?
Yeah, that's tough. Okay.
Lock those windows.
Set the alarm.
Everybody take a pose.
Yeah, so what do you do?
Well, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think you need to have protocols in your home that don't make that easy for them to do. But then the second piece of it is making them accountable for their behavior. You have a tween. They know exactly what they're doing.
She took the TV away. They're taking things away.
You did all those things. But, you know, making them accountable in the sense that, you know, what privileges do they still have?
Yeah.
And they're still doing that. You may take some things
privileges
away.
Like, I'm going to allow you to still breathe. But one more time and that's over.
Right. I mean, it's a lot of extra things our kids do that we don't think of as being privileges. Right. They don't have to have. Yeah. And as long as you abide by the rules and you don't sneak out, you have these privileges.
Yeah, a bed, food, and water.
Very
strip them down to that.
Very
of course, the tough thing is, what is he sneaking out for? And then around the age of the teens and stuff, we start thinking about, don't come home with a baby, right? So here's an email from Angela. She says, we're so busy telling our kids not to have, this is a child, SEX. In reality, we should do a better job of telling them how to be prepared in the event they cross that line. That will cut down on teen pregnancies and STDs. This is one of those things that we have had this fight for many years where parents say, I don't want the school teaching it. I don't care if you do it from a science-based point of view, but I'm going to teach it. And then you ask people, how many of you did your parents sit you down and give you the talk? How many of you did they do that? Okay, we've got a few hands raised in the eyes, but most of you are like, no, they did not. I'm still waiting for the talk, and I have a baby. I have a child. But, you know, we have to not be afraid. If we're afraid of it, then we need to prepare our children for something.
We do. Not having the conversation, I think I said this the last time when we had this kind of conversation, does not prevent them from having sex. They're going to do it, whether you're talking about it to them or not. Yeah. You want to have the conversation. You want to keep them talking. My biggest point in therapy is keeping your kid talking to you.
All right. Lynette, speaking of, what's your question?
Deborah and the panel, I have a question. How do you relate to your teens and get them to talk to you while still setting boundaries?
Yeah, they don't want to go over tell you they went over that boundary because they think they might get in trouble. But yeah, how do you do that?
I think one of the keys is not overreacting when they tell you something that is very sensitive to them, because you need to establish that trust that they can tell you something and you're not going to fly off the deep end.
Yeah.
So how you handle what they say means a lot to them in terms of whether they'll come back and try to tell you something again.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You know, there's another email question here. We talked about social media earlier. My 16-year-old daughter is furious that I routinely check her text, Facebook account, etc., claiming it is an invasion of her privacy. Oh, wow. She works and pays for her own phone. Should I lighten up, Lynn?
Does she live in her house?
She lives in her house. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. And she's still a minor. She's still a minor. Those parents are still responsible for her.
I think we have to realize that if they live in our home, we are responsible for what happens to them. Yeah. And so it's not even spying. I let you know, Mommy is going to check this, that, and that. Just know that I am. It's not a secret. It's going to happen. So be upfront and honest with your kids about that.
Yeah. Also, understand, because this is about the time where a lot of parents want to become their child's friend. And there you go. We have Rhodesia on the line right now. Good morning, Rhodesia.
Good morning.
And what's your comment?
I think I want to go back to the comment about the teenagers. I am a mother of 3 teenagers, 18, 16, and 14. And I'm a single mother now. So I have found that I'm not mean to them, but at the same time, I'm very, very firm with them. And I let them know that there are consequences to every choice. So if you decide to try to sneak out the house, I'm going to go to sleep at night. But if you decide to sneak out of the house, there are consequences to that. I'm not searching for you. I'm not going to do any of that. But there are consequences for all your actions. And thank God I have not had those problems with my children. They're pretty good kids.
Yeah, you know, I tried to sneak out of the house once, and my mom said, you're going to have a problem sneaking back in. So that was the last time I did that. You know, I mentioned earlier, you can't be your teenager's friends. Justin Bieber and his dad hanging out in clubs together. No wonder he's in trouble. You know, Lindsay Lohan and her mom, same thing, is that you see them in these magazines, and they're hanging out together, and they don't want to offend their child because they're the bank, really.
Right.
And so, but you see what happens. Then conversely, you get to a Justin Timberlake and his parents who were very nurturing and set boundaries for him and turned out to be a good adult there. There was also something about a case recently where a judge said that the child was not responsible for the accident he caused because he's a victim of affluenza. Wow. Affluenza. It's just that he had never been taught right from wrong, or never taught that he couldn't have what he wanted to have. And I think, unfortunately, what happens is that we characterize a whole generation of kids that way. It's not the whole generation of kids, but the fact that it actually came up in a courtroom and got by is kind of crazy.
And he suffered little consequence for, comparatively, he killed 4 people in that accident, and he ends up with what's seen as a slap on the wrist. My question is, okay, so if you are a victim of bad parenting, which was pretty much what that defense is all about, then what consequences do the parents have? Because I want to hold them responsible for that if that's really what happened.
All right, we have another question or comment up here. Hi there.
Hi, when do you think is the right time to start giving your children privacy as they get older?
At 21. So that privacy, or, you know, I gotta tell you, it's like at least the appearance of giving your child privacy.
Right. I think that varies based on what the need is. So bathroom privacy, we could start that pretty early. I think that's just respectful. I mean, my daughter is 5. Mommy, can you leave? No problem. I'll be on the other side of the door. Call me when you need me. I think, but when you're talking about other things like with the social media, with the internet, and those kind of things, privacy takes on a different, you know, aspect. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of privacy because I'm responsible for what it is that you're accessing. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of privacy and high-tech stuff, there's a show called The Crizzlies. Crizzlies Know Best. Have you seen that yet? All right, let's take a look at this soundbite here, because I'm glad this was not my dad.
My form of parenting is entirely different than Julie's form of parenting. I need to know where our children are at all times. So when I buy them a car, there is a tracking device.
Todd assumes, no, you assume that kids are all liars.
You really think that when Chase tells me at 16 years old, oh, I'm going to bed at 8:30? Bull. He's going to look at porn or doing something he's not supposed to be doing. So I monitor all of the computer traffic. Oh, my God. Chase? Really? I had this computer taken from you. But you won't get it again. It's going to be Todd's way or the highway, because at the end of the day, he who has the gold rules. I have the gold. They don't.
What are you doing? Wow. Okay. You said, there you go. All right. The more you want to push it, little teenager, the more we're going to push it as parents. All right. Well, they call them boomerang kids. We raised you, sent you to college, and off you go, right? Well, not always. How to lay down the ground rules when your grown kids come back home.